What is good, everybody? My name is Nathan Brewer, and today I'll be hosting the InNOLEvation Mindset Podcast, powered by the Moran College of Entrepreneurship. And today I am here with
Kristy Gonio.
Okay. So how you doing today, Kristy?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. So today I really just want to be able to talk to you about your brand. First and foremost, like, how did you get started?
So with photography or with my own business type of thing?
Let's say like the art of photography in the first place. Like, what inspires you to go down to even just get in that field?
Yeah, so I've always been interested in sports, played a lot of sports, and so in high school I would see a lot of kind of like football mixtape edits, and I just really thought it was cool. And so I had got my first job, and I just spent my whole check on a camera, not really knowing even how to work one. And so even though I was interested in doing video, I just kind of stuck with photography because it was easier. And just honestly, it just kind of went from there.
Okay, sounds smooth. So you said started off, like, what is some like the hardest things, like what you say, like started off like just with photography in general? Like, what is some like some of the setbacks you had starting up?
I think probably the hardest part is just kind of learning how to use a camera and kind of manual settings, automatic settings, just to get it to look right. On top of that, when it comes to photography, it's a very expensive field. So just starting out, you don't really have a lot of the equipment that you need to, I guess, like capture what you want. So I'll give you an example. When I first started out, just the lens that I had, it was very wide. So a lot of the stuff that I would practice with, let's say baseball, right, they're very far. So it's like you just kind of have to work with certain limitations when it comes to equipment. And then just kind of like as I went along, got more money, I got longer lenses, and I could cover more things. But I think that was definitely kind of a struggle at first.
Okay, yeah, I just gotta say the same too. Like, I'm not really I'm into photography as well. I've already took it as a business, but it's definitely a very expensive industry. You could say the less, like, for one, just the case, like the first the body for no lens really gonna run you something. But on top of that, really getting your lenses, getting your bag with that is definitely it's very expensive, but also very rewarding. I say industry whenever you're actually able to use the equipment that you have, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely agree. Just from the past year, as I've kind of been able to get more clientele and actually see an income come in, I've also had to drop a lot of that. So I feel like from the outside looking in, people see like, oh, photographer, like you make money, you make over 100 or something, whatever per shoot. But it's like, yeah, but this lens I just bought was 3,500. So really it's all gone. So yeah, it's definitely really expensive.
It's definitely already about like investing into yourself, and just like as time goes on, they don't really see like, that initial purchase, but it's definitely rewarding for sure.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about like the position that your brand is in right now.
So I'll kind of backtrack a little bit. So when I first kind of came to Florida State, it really started out with me just kind of wanting to work within athletics. So I started off as an intern with women's basketball. But on top of that, I just kind of wanted to get more involved with the community. So let's say with Market Wednesday, I'd come out with my camera. Definitely started off a little shy. I feel like there really weren't many people out there with a camera, and I felt like a little stalker. Like I'm just over here taking pictures of y'all. But I just over time I kind of got over that fear, and I would post the photos, and it would just get like stupid engagement. Like, mind you, I think when I came to Florida State, my Instagram, my photography Instagram, I think it had maybe 100 followers max, and I'm at 800 now. So most of that came from going to Market Wednesday, and people would just repost, reshare, like it up. And that was also kind of the first instance where I really took photos of people as well. So that I feel like that ties into more of my business. I feel like sports is kind of like a separate job. So really all my engagement came from my business. But I kind of lost my train of thought there. But yeah, I had a lot of success with Market Wednesday. And then I think last fall, the Alphas approached me to take photos of their probate. And I was like, oh, like, okay. So I take photos, and, you know, I was like, okay, like, these are fine or whatever. And I post them, and they got posted on Watch the Yard. And I was like, oh, that's crazy. Like, because mind you, I really didn't have that confidence in myself. And I feel like definitely started out, I just really had to navigate through a lot of fear and kind of self-doubt. So just being able to put my work out and get that type of feedback, it just kind of took me back and instilled a lot of confidence in me. From there, I really just did a lot of work with bigger organizations. Some individuals reached out for grad photos. And so this year, I really kind of opened up a little bit. And so I did my first few studio shoots as well, which is good money right there, and they're a lot faster. So it's definitely been right now just like a time of growth, doing more things, and kind of exploring different areas within photography and more of the people side of things.
Okay, sounds smooth. So we like to say like entrepreneurship as well. Like you kind of said, like you started off like you were shy as well. I feel I've kind of had like the same kind of battle with my own personal brand. And like, but the thing with entrepreneurship, like you grow the best whenever you're really be able to go out there and engage with the people that surround you. And I really resolved that. Like for example, like with me, like Market Wednesday was definitely the hub for me. Any type of like not only networking but also like building my brand as well. Like there's nothing more like benefiting that I should be able to have and provide like, you know, your service for like the people to enjoy. So I definitely do reside with that as well. You also said like you also interned with girls basketball, of course, right? Mm-hmm. How did you get into that part? How was that for experience?
Yeah, so like I said, when I was first coming in, I really just had the goal of working with athletics, but I didn't have really no type of connections. So I would just go with my own personal camera. I would go to games from the stands and just take photos, put it on my portfolio. I just really try my best to build up my portfolio. I did know someone that was interning with women's basketball, and she told me, oh, there's this new like head creative director. So I went, I emailed the creative director with my resume, kind of a cover letter, you know, why I want to work there, attach my portfolio. And I think a good advantage was having my own camera, because that way, like when you're kind of reliant on their equipment, there's certain limitations. Like they could only let in like a certain amount of people. But since I have my own camera, I just, you know, go with my own stuff. And yeah, that's just kind of how I got involved with women's basketball. And that was really a stepping stone to what I do now with men's basketball.
So when was that? What year was that for like school-wise for you?
My freshman year.
Your freshman year. So freshman year, you start really taking this seriously now. Now you're interning for like an internationally recognized face. And like, what was that experience?
I think the good thing about women's basketball, which is also kind of an unfortunate thing, is they don't really get as much attention, if that makes sense. So I feel like there was definitely more room to growth and kind of fail, right? I didn't have to be perfect just yet because there's not as much eyes. And I feel like it was just a really, really good learning opportunity, because that's kind of where I learned how cameras work, the shutter speed, ISO. I don't want to get too much into the details, but and then I think just socially, I guess just working under that type of environment, right? So it's kind of a small team, and it's very fast-paced. So I think just kind of learning how to work with people under pressure, because it can be somewhat ruthless. I feel like everyone just kind of sees the photos pop up on Instagram, but there's a lot of craziness that goes on during game time that a lot of people don't really see.
What was like your favorite experience during that first internship?
I don't know if I could really point to a particular experience. I think probably the best games are the ones where we're playing against some rivals. It's just more energy, bigger crowd. You get more celebrations. I feel like the best part is if you get big plays and celebrations. If it's a game where, you know, you're losing or just playing slow, it's just like, eh. But I feel like that's the best part, being able to capture cool stuff.
I forgot to ask, like, where can we find you at?
Yeah, my photography Instagram is Kristy C Photos.
Okay. Okay, sounds smooth. With you right now, like, what are some ways do you feel like you want to be able to grow, like, your brand moving forward?
Um, I'm not sure. I feel like that's a really good question. I think the way I kind of move through things, I don't really put kind of, how do I say this? I'm very present in what I do.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really look and say, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that. I just kind of go off, what am I good at, what am I excelling at, and I'm going to do more of it.
Mm-hmm.
But at this current stage, since I feel like I'm still kind of, at least I always feel like I'm still kind of in that beginner stage. So I'm just kind of trying different things, whatever people throw at me, and then seeing like, what am I good at? Which I feel like it has taken a lot of growth for me to get to this point, because something that I had to battle was also self-limiting beliefs. So when I first started out, I would turn down work because I thought, well, I'm not good enough for this, or I don't want to mess it up because I've never done it before. So I feel like right now I'm just kind of in that stage of just learning, not being afraid to do stuff for the first time, possibly fail, which I've learned that a lot of the things I dealt with in the past, it was just in my own head. Because when I went and I decided to say yes and do that thing for the first time, it ended up all fine in the end. So I think that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah, that's definitely. I feel like that's definitely a big thing too. Like, sometimes you definitely could get caught like in the idea of like of doing it. Really, it's like it's really not that. Like once you start pulling down the layers, everything, just say, all right, just do it. Like let's go
you
ahead.
just gotta do it. You gotta get out of your head.
Because as an entrepreneur, for sure, like that's one of the hardest things too. Like, you're guiding your own destiny. No one can really tell you exactly how to run your business or run yourself, because at the end of the day, no one's gonna understand what you want to do other than you. Mm-hmm. And I feel that's one of the biggest things. So for me at least, how do you feel about that?
What do you mean in particular?
Like just being able like really just to collect your own thoughts and be able to really guide your, like for example, like you're a student entrepreneur right now, right? Mm-hmm. So with you being a student entrepreneur, like you still have to be able to balance two big responsibilities. A lot of people come out here to school, their main focus is to be able to go to school. They may have a job or something, they're like cool, but like they don't really have to devote too much time. When they go to work, okay, I'm at work and that's it. I don't got to worry about my job for the rest of the day. But as being an entrepreneur, you're constantly kind of in that mindset. Okay, I'm also at school, but I'm also still got to focus on the brand, still focus on the business, on the thing. How do you be able to balance like both sides of the coin?
So I feel like it's definitely a struggle, and I could sit here and say that I am balancing it, but I feel like you kind of just go through your periods where you're better off and other times where you're not. So for an example, like let's be real, when those exam weeks come around, I may be a little slow with the turnaround times or vice versa. So I think I'm still learning how to navigate that, but just kind of staying present. I try not to overthink things, or let's say if I have something to do, I feel like a problem in the past is I just think about it. And I feel like something that has helped me a lot is just writing down what I have to do and just doing it instead of thinking about what I have to do. So I feel like that's definitely something that has helped, but it's definitely very tough to navigate both, but you just got to get through. Like I feel like the time passes anyways, so just kind of being relentless with your time, not wasting time, just staying focused and knowing what you have to do is the way to go.
Okay. Have you ever thought about doing any like philanthropy, like events with your photography?
Honestly, yes. I feel like definitely something I see a lot is like headshots for free, things like that. I feel like I just wouldn't really know how to go about it. I really just started doing like good headshots this year. So I did one for Dream, but they pay me. So technically it's not philanthropy. Yeah. But yeah, I feel like as I get more equipment to be able to do some of the like group stuff, I definitely try to get into it.
Okay, for sure. So what is like with you where you're at right now, what is some advice for like someone that's want to come up and do the same exact thing that you're doing? What is some advice you can give them, like they're like freshly starting off, they want to kind of like do exactly what you're doing?
I feel like I always see a lot of beginners be afraid to like post their work, which on my page you could scroll down and you could see kind of where I started out. You're not going to start out with your stuff looking the best. And how I got to where I was now, like back then, I thought my stuff was ugly, but other people didn't. So you really don't know, and you should not be afraid to show your work, no matter what stage you're at. So I feel like that's definitely really important, just showcasing your work, because you never know, who's going to tell who, hey, this girl does this, oh, let's work with her, da-da-da. And just shooting as many things as you can. Don't say no. And like I said, like how I got my internship with women's basketball, I went to the games with my camera. I just searched up the rules. Okay, what size lens can I have? I was fully in the crowd taking pictures. Like, just take pictures in as many places as you can, public spaces, tag people. Just try to get as many eyes on your stuff as possible, and always learn. Put the money last. I feel like definitely, like, I'm just now starting to, like, up my prices for my work, because I feel like I'm kind of getting to that stage where it's like, okay, like, I can't be doing this stuff for free. Like, my time is a lot more valuable, but yeah. But also, I'd say when you're first starting out, don't be afraid to do stuff for free. I know that's kind of a big debate, but honestly, I guess most of my most popular work has been me doing stuff on my own, or me doing stuff for free. Like, I could point to, I don't know, well, you probably know, like, Destroying. Mm-hmm. So he had his 1v1 event in Tallahassee. Yeah. And so I had went out there with my camera, and, like, the post went mad crazy. He reposted it on his Instagram, followed my photography account. I had, like, just mad people, like, engaging with my stuff. Mind you, I didn't even like the photos that much. That was with my old equipment. But from all the love that I got from that, I got the confidence, and then I upgraded my equipment from that. So, and, like, got a lot more engagement, followers, all that. So don't be afraid to do stuff for free. Just shoot as much stuff as you can.
Yeah, I feel like you really got to capitalize on those opportunities, like you said. Like, it's funny enough. Like, we was out there too. That day,
yeah. I saw you.
We was out there too. We was selling our clothes and everything. Just said, I brought it with me. I know, said, there's an event going on. Let's go ahead and bring clothes out. Let's go ahead and do it. And, like, kind of like how the same effect had for you. Like, we had videos, made content, got us joined in the merge, and it just, as an entrepreneur, you always gotta be able to think on your feet. Also, be able to understand that, like you gotta put yourself out there. No one's gonna be able to see your work. No one's gonna be able to know who you are if you're not gonna be able to put yourself out there.
Exactly.
And also, like you said, like, free work. See, free work. There's nothing wrong with doing stuff for free. I mean, of course, the goal is to always make money. Like, and as an entrepreneur, I like to have a business just to make money. But like, that opportunity can brace you way more money than if you would start off, I'm going to start charging this price because that's what I feel like.
Exactly.
While you go ahead and get this free work done, and now it opened up you for way more opportunities and way more networks. Because the more or less, like, the goal is to build your clientele base. So,
yeah.
How was shooting, like, the public for you?
Which one?
The alpha one.
The first one or this past one?
Which one was your favorite?
See, I don't know. I feel like when I shoot stuff, I'm, like, super locked in. So I might have to say the first one.
Okay, that's
but fine. It's more because of the location. Like, I felt, at least, like, well, I don't know if the audience will kind of, like, be aware, but the second one was more, like, on a stage level. And it just looks better, like, being on the same level, if that makes sense, at least from, like, my eye. So, like, creatively, I like the first location better, shooting in the first location better. But I say vibes were high overall. There were a lot of people. They were both really fun to shoot.
Okay, sounds good.
Yes.
How big does the stuff outside of the frame, how big does that play into a picture of when you're shooting?
So, I think when I'm shooting, it's more of, I don't know, it's kind of like a mix of, like, instinct and just what looks good to my eyes. So, I don't know, like, every photographer is different, and stuff just kind of grasps my attention. I think I definitely try to make sure that my subjects are in center, try to always get that frontward shot. Back of the head is just not good looking. Wherever the lighting is the best, if there's less stuff going on in the background, that looks better. But most of it is just kind of instinctual, just like what, like, ticks to my brain. And I feel like another tip is just always moving around if you can, which kind of conflicts with Market Wednesday, because Market Wednesday, honestly, I just stand in the same spot. But, I mean, everybody's doing all the movement, so I don't really have to move around that much. But most of the time when I'm shooting, it's just always moving around, especially with events. You don't want to stay in the same spot. And just like I said, just keeping those things in mind, your centers in focus, your subject in focus, smiling, wherever all the expressions, the action is happening.
Okay, so it's like you kind of build like that eye.
Yeah.
Like photography.
For sure.
Over time. Like, how does it feel looking back at your old work now? Like,
man, I was looking at my old basketball stuff. I was like, man, what the heck is this? But, I mean, part of it also is the equipment. So, where I work now, like, the camera body, I borrow it. And that camera body is the Sony A9 III. It is $8,000. Right.
Me personally, like when I hear like A9, I already knew.
You already knew. The 9, that's a lot of versions. Yeah. So, yeah, I feel like that definitely plays a role. I mean, you know, it was different equipment back then, but like just kind of, you could kind of see like the different things that I learned. Like sometimes, especially in sports, it's better to shoot from like that lower angle. So just things like that with like angles. Also, editing is a big thing. So I feel like with a lot of photographers, they turn up saturation. So like the colors really intense in their photos, the clarity, like just certain things that like beginners do with their editing style. I could kind of see in my old photos. And like as you kind of mature, either you find your own unique style or like you just have a more balanced, natural look to your photography. So that's some things that I kind of saw.
How whenever like you get to post-production as well, do you have like a certain formula when it comes down to like, oh, this is my like signature, like this is my certain approach, or does it change like vary with each post?
So I think for me, I try to honestly go for a pretty natural look, except with Market. I don't know if it was necessarily on purpose, and I feel like I do it a little less now, but when I first started, I don't know, I definitely do a lot with like the blue, like the color of the sky. I feel like this had more to do though with like the patio, which, you know, me personally, I liked it better when Market Wednesday was on the patio. Just like artistically, the lighting is better. I feel like the MPHC park, it is beautiful, but the trees and the shadows, it kind of messes with the photos sometimes. And like, ugh.
Yeah, I can see that. It's definitely like, I love the entries. I love the park.
Yes.
I love the park, but like, I feel like it's just like the trees kind of get in the way sometimes.
It's just a lot of stuff in the way.
Yeah.
So I definitely liked it up there because like I definitely mess with the blues a lot and just kind of make the photos pop out a lot more. Just everything was just a lot brighter and there was less distraction in the back, which kind of made the subjects pop out a lot more when it was on the patio. But I feel like, yeah, like with my editing style, I'm just trying to go for like a balanced, natural, realistic look when I edit.
Do you have any like projects you're looking forward to like coming up?
Projects? You said projects?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. With my personal, like with my brand, with my business, nothing specific. I think right now I'm just at a stage where like I'm letting people kind of reach out to me because I'm so busy. So I don't want to be out here saying, oh, I have all these availabilities and slots. And like, you know, I could go shoot it, but the turnaround time is not going to be that great. And I feel like I really value my service. So at the moment, I've just been working with like certain organizations on campus. Like I did the Sigma's headshots recently, which Come and Watch the Yard, and several other orgs. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. I did make like a website, which I'm working on making better. So that's kind of something I'm doing on the entrepreneurial side. And also trying to get like real contracts in place and stuff because let's just say I had a little incident with like payment. So that's also a tip I would give if you're starting out, like have kind of written out, you know, oh, I take deposits this and I take payment here and there because a lot of people that I work with, I kind of have a relationship with. So since I wasn't really working with a lot of strangers, I didn't feel the need to like really write out like, okay, here's this, that, and the third. But I have learned through experience, definitely write things out. But I'd say I'll probably do some grad shoots. So that's like something to look forward to. But right now, my main focus is basketball, which takes up a lot of my time and kind of eats into the entrepreneurial side. So that's kind of something I'm trying to navigate, like balancing those things out.
Okay. Okay, let's talk a little bit about like the everyone sees like, like the photos, the pictures, all of that. But let's talk about like the actual engagement and like the client constellation with your like through your process. Like how important is that? Like what does that really look like while taking photos?
So do you mean during or like talking to the client before the service?
I say a little bit mixed. I feel like a little mix of both. They're both very much important.
So I feel like I definitely have to get better with like the process because like I said, a lot of the clients are people that I know. So it's pretty informal. I'm not going to lie. It's just like DM like, oh, we want to do a photo shoot for our Founders Day. Okay, let's do it. Another thing that I feel like I could improve on is like actual posing. So with lifestyle stuff, I feel like I'm a person, I don't even like to take photos. So when I'm with someone, they're like, what do I do with my hand? What do I do with my arm? I'm like, girl, I don't know. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know. So I think something that I have implemented is doing more like Pinterest boards. So just so people already kind of have an idea of some poses that we can default on and things like that. So I feel like that's something that I've implemented for sure. But I'm always just kind of looking for new ways to kind of make the actual process better. I feel like my strengths are definitely kind of the post process, right? Like the editing and things like that. And I feel like definitely engaging with the client is something I need to work on in terms of like directing people more and posing people, which I think is advice that I'll also give to beginners. Kind of work on, how to pose people. And like as your eye develops, you'll kind of know like what looks good and what doesn't. But definitely that. And then also getting more photos than you need. So instead of like, let's say you're editing and like you realize like, oh, like these are all bad. Like if you kind of overshoot and do a little extra during that hour that you were shooting, it'll kind of have you a little safer when you're after the fact, when you're like editing them and like trying to pick good photos out.
Okay, definitely so. I mean, like, I feel like with that too, like it's never like you said, it's always going process. Like you always gotta be able to find ways to get better at it. Like and I feel that's for me personally as well, very 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 important part. If you had to put one thing you can say that you love the most out of everything, what do you love the most?
I like when people post the photos. Like I like to see. I also find it interesting when people, I guess like what photos they chose, like what stuck out to them, because oftentimes like what you think was the best photo is like not the same as what they thought was the best photo or the cover photo. So I think really just seeing like people mess with your work and people like post it and share it and like this is how they're expressing themselves to the world and like you helped capture that. So like if you didn't take that photo, they wouldn't even be able to like share this and like people are engaging and stuff like that. So I think just like being able to capture moments in people's lives and like have a like giving them that way to show themselves to the world, if that makes sense.
It's self-expression. It's also like a capture of time as well. Like at the end, do you ever like think about that? Like the work that I'm doing right now, this is like they're gonna look back and show their kids this like
all the time. I think I'm definitely an overshooter for that reason. Like if you've ever seen like photographer memes, like it's like you go home, you got like 3,000 photos on your card and it's like, oh my goodness, I have so much to look through. But it's just, I love to capture time. Like I think it's so important to capture that moment. It only happens once. So I think that's definitely a very, very gratifying part about it is actually capturing this moment in people's lives that they'll look back on.
Okay. You did have an interesting thing that you said earlier. Like, although like you love photography and everything as well, like you yourself don't like to be on the other side of the camera. Is there like a reason for that or?
I don't know, just growing up, maybe I just wasn't the best looking, and I just never really got into taking photos. I feel like I am trying to start now, but I think honestly it just stemmed from like not having a lot of confidence as I was younger. And then I think I've definitely made the effort as I've moved through college, got some more money, definitely investing in how I look. I feel like that's another thing that people should really put a lot of importance on. Like, people are perceiving you based off first glance, so I've really made the effort to not step out, looking raggedy, just even if I'm not even going to do something super important, like I'm going to try to make sure that I look put together. And I feel like, people will treat you a type of way, and it just, like, you'll feel better, you'll move with more confidence, more sociable. So definitely just putting a lot more importance into my appearance, but I'm still a little shy with the cam, but yeah. I don't know. Yeah, at the same time though, like, I don't know, like, another struggle is just like every time someone takes a photo and I look back at it, it's like, why do I look like an alien? You
just remind me of something too. Like, I feel like, especially not like, I know, like, ever since I started taking photos a little bit too, it's like when I take photos with somebody, it's like, all right, I snap, and then when I go back and I look at the photos they took for me, I'm like.
Right, or it's like you take your little selfie, like you feeling good, and then someone takes the picture of you, and it's like, man, like, who is this? So that's why I just, when I see a camera, like, I'm just like, no, let me take it. I'll take a little selfie. Like,
see, I feel like that's like the gift and the curse of having like a camera eye. Like,
yes,
you like, I make sure I get some good work, but now it's like when I see myself on the ceiling, it's just like,
yeah, you definitely like become a little perfectionist.
Yeah. No, but I feel like, do you have any like words of encouragement? It don't have to be my like business or anything, like for anyone to have. Like, what are some principles you live by?
I'm trying not to be repetitive because I feel like I kind of touched on them. I could also get a little deep. I don't know if you want to go there.
Oh, no, go ahead.
So I feel like for me, definitely, like, before college, like, my mental space was not really all the way there. I feel like I kind of struggled socially. I didn't really feel like I had many goals. I was just kind of stuck in, like, that academic validation. Like, I just have to do good in school. I kind of was in kind of like a Latino household. Like, you just got to do good in school and like that's it. But I feel like I didn't really do anything that fulfilled me as a person. And then just some things happened. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I did want to go to UF. The Gators. Yeah.
Whoa, hold on. Whoa. Wait, you said you want to go to UF?
I wanted to go to UF because my dad went to UF.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, so I wanted to go to UF and I didn't get in, and it crushed me because I feel like throughout high school, like, I was always a gifted kid. Like, I always did good in school, but I didn't try my best. And so I lived with a lot of regret because had I tried my best, I probably would have got in. So I kind of took that fuel and that regret, and I told myself going to college, like, I'm not going to leave any room for regret, and I'm really going to try my hardest in everything that I do. And so through that, I feel like every area of my life got so much better, right? So I made the effort to go to a lot of events. I made a lot of friends. I started with photography, and I just try to push past the fears. I went with school. I had 4.0, trying my best in accounting, right? Intro to financial, got an A on that, intro to managerial, all of that by just trying my best. So I say all that to say that you don't want to live with regret, and you only live one life. So just try your best. That's it. No.
I do feel like them times where you fail, like when you really want something bad and you fail and you don't get it, those are necessary. But at the end of the day, you should definitely like strive to like that will never happen again.
You learn from it.
You definitely you definitely will have to learn from like you failing. Like that's definitely been something that I feel like not only just as an entrepreneur, as a person in general, like you're gonna fail over and over again. Like that's no matter what, you're going to fail, no matter how many times. Even if you do everything right every single time, there's gonna come a time when you will fail. So, but be able to put yourself to a standard where failure, I might fail, but it's realistically I'm still winning at the end of the day because I gave my all into it. Once you put it on yourself, you really can't fail. So
I feel like at the same time though, like you should always be trying to do those hard things that like have that possibility to fail, if that makes sense. So you could take the easy route and win at everything, but at the end of the day, like you're not really getting as much fruits of your labor, if that makes sense. Whereas if you were doing something hard, it probably has like a nice prize at the end. So it's like, you know, you might fail and fail and fail, but when you hit, you know, that's something real big that you're getting at the end. Whereas if you just took the easy road, I mean, you're probably going to have a hard life anyways, right? Because, you know, you probably just be working a regular job, you know, having these regular outcomes. So, I mean, I always say to just take the hard route, grind it out, and just learn from it. Learn from your mistakes. But I feel like the outcomes will be better, and we only get one life. So why not try your best?
like real fears, like at all, like with like what you're doing right now, like, do you have any fears or like any like superstitions?
I think right now I feel like I have passions and kind of my career aspirations are all over the place because I came into college saying I want to be a sports agent, but I'm an accounting major. I currently have internships with Deloitte, which if y'all don't know, it's like a Big Four firm. So hypothetically, I could move forward. I have a secure route, you know, be an accountant, and that's already the top firm. So like my career's set, but I don't want to do that. Now, as I navigate and move through certain things, I don't know if I want to be a sports agent anymore. I'm really liking photography. However, it's very uncertain because I still want to work in sports. Sports photography doesn't make that much money. Entrepreneur or like having my own photography business does make a lot of money, or could. It's uncertain too. Mm-hmm. So I think my fears right now is just like I want to be happy in what I do because I feel like that's how I'll work the hardest. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, okay, I could take the safe route and be an accountant, but I'm going to be miserable working long hours. Like I live very present with what I do, and I want to be happy and try my best. So I think the fear right now is just trying to navigate, like, okay, am I wasting my potential in these opportunities if I don't go with these safer routes? Or if I just really try my best and go 100%, you know, with photography and stuff, will it be worth it in the end? So it's definitely a lot. It's a big fear. But, yeah, I think that's something that all entrepreneurs kind of go through. Like, you know, it's always that safe route, which I guess in the theme of this podcast, the safe route is probably not going to be the way to go. But that's kind of what I'm dealing with.
I kind of be feeling the same way sometimes, you know. Like you said, entrepreneurship is very much, it's not the safe route. Uncertain. It's not the route. It's uncertain. Like each and every day, I got to wake up and try to figure out how can I make this dream or what I want to do today. Mm-hmm. Like, it's all on me. It's no one else I can really push towards. Of course, you may be able to see people in the field that's doing the thing that you want to do, but at the end of the day, who's going to be the one to make that happen? Is it going to be the next man or the next woman? It's going to be you. It's not going to be none of that. So, but at the same time, though, it's like the journey. I feel it's not only the journey, but also like you said, the passion. Like I would definitely much rather live the life where I'm passionate what I do than like you said, I get into like a career field and I'm making all this money, I'm doing all this.
But you just at a desk. But you don't even like the people you work with. You don't like what you're doing. Like, no.
Exactly. Like I'm just working. Like none of my, but at the same time working, I'm getting all this money. Maybe go on vacation sometimes. But
it's like once a year.
It's once a year, and it's another thing too. Like all the work that I do day to day isn't going really for my benefit. Like at the end of the day, you all live with that regret and be like, dang. Like I wish for that at the very beginning, I felt like that regret. Like dang, what if I would have stuck with that business? What if I would have stuck with that vision what I was doing? I feel like for me personally, that always kind of be my worst fear. Like I want to make sure that no matter what, I'm really pushing towards and just doing what I want to do and just see where that ride takes me.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Yeah. But yeah, I feel like that was pretty smooth, you know. But on that note, I feel like this would be a great place to be able to close and have this as the end. I really do appreciate you for being able to come on and give your perspectives and just letting people know who you are. So
yeah, thank you for having me.
For sure. What's good, everybody? My name is Nathan Brewer, and this is another episode of InNOLEvation Mindset Podcast powered by the Moran College of Entrepreneurship. And this is
Kristy Gonio. You can find me at Kristy C Photos on Instagram.
Thank you once again for being able to come on and be able to have this conversation. I'll see y'all again next episode.